Welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge. I am Amanda Cromhope from Truth Loyalty and the Blind Loyalty Trust. We interview world leaders in loyalty blindly. The challenge is about creating loyalty insight spontaneously and about a lot of fun. Simultaneously, it is about raising the awareness of the Blind Loyalty Trust, and 100% of the proceeds from my book, Blind Loyalty, 101 Loyalty Concepts Radically Simplified, go towards the trust. We hope you enjoy the Blind Loyalty Challenge. Today's Blind Loyalty Challenge takes us actually straight to an airport, which is very apt given who my guest is. So I'm very happy to be speaking in Doha Airport to Evert de Boer, who's managing partner of On Point Loyalty and the CEO of Fidifio, and a renowned multi-book author. So Evert, you are tagged by Kim Hardiker, so you can tell her off for bringing you into this fun and games. She's from Riyadh Air, as you know. But thank you for joining us on the Blind Loyalty Challenge.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're also a contributor to Blind Loyalty, Chapter 77, which is around airline loyalty, obviously, which is an area of expertise, but we'll unpack that later. So your first question on Blind Loyalty Challenge is actually set by Kim. So again, you can give Kim a quick call after this. Her question is, given that the loyalty industry just continuously talks about personalization, it's been a hot topic for the last 5 years plus. But yet, is it really being achieved? What's your opinion on that?
For in the sake of making an interesting interview, I will take a start position and say, yeah, no, it's window dressing to a great extent.
Digressing.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't think that many have mastered it, and many are trying to do it. But meaningful personalization, I think, is quite difficult. I think. Yeah, it's almost like a bit of a buzzword that many people talk about, but actually doing it and showing a positive ROI, I think very few have, done it, let alone mastered it. Maybe the closest one, if I can put on my hat that I'm always wearing, mostly wearing on airline loyalty, I think that the most successful programs, they have arguably done it because they are personalizing the access to seats, a reward seat. So in other words, the really smart operators, they give a personalized access and pricing to reward seats. So they look at what member is asking for a specific reward and then take into account transactional data, social demographic data, and come up with the right answer in terms of should that person get the seat and at what price. And I always joke, but it's not really a joke, it's actually quite serious, that loyalty programs in some ways have leapfrogged traditional revenue management. Because revenue management, when you book a seat on an airline, the class is open or closed.
Yeah.
But with all that wonderful data that the loyalty program has, you can make a much more insight-supported decision in terms of availability and pricing. So personalization, hot topic, very few have done it. So still a lot of ground to be gained, I think.
I would love to have a conversation with someone who's head of RevMan for one of the big airlines about what you've just said, because I think you're absolutely right that there's none of that personalized customer data in that RevMan decision. But can you imagine if they could harness that? I'm sure some probably are, as you say, but obviously via the loyalty program. But that's another conversation. I like that. I think that's an avenue we can go down. So my second question is probably the easiest question I've asked a guest on the Blind Loyalty Challenge, but it's not the easiest question I've ever asked because only you can answer this. Tell us, what is the currency effect?
Oh, yes, I should know that.
Okay, let me premise this. You're actually the author of Loyalty Programs and the Currency Effect. So tell us what the currency effect is.
Yeah, so the currency effect is a concept that I came up with together with my colleague Xiaoyao Chin, who is a partner at On Point Loyalty. And the way how we arrived at the concept was as follows. We do a ton of work in the loyalty space, and traditionally loyalty programs have focused on what some people call the loyalty effect or what we call the member effect, where you basically use the loyalty program to create better customers that are more sticky and give you a greater share of wallet. And the overwhelming majority of research, both in academic circles as well as in business literature, focuses on that member effect. So, how do you advance your objectives by providing a loyalty program and
Yeah.
so on and so forth? At the same time, let's say over the last 30 years or so, I'm talking broad strokes, these loyalty programs with their loyalty currencies have also, almost in a subconscious way, started to do something else, which is monetizing the currencies, both directly and indirectly. And when I say monetize, I mean, so they start to sell to partners. Nowadays, they also sell to members directly. And that generates all kinds of nice effects where you get revenues from selling the currency, but also it allows you to run your loyalty program in the form of a profit center because now you have
Yeah.
revenues coming in and you're buying rewards. And that itself can be a very nice business that can potentially help you to do well, all sorts of things. Companies have used their program for financing or to increase their overall enterprise valuation. So then we said, okay, so effectively there are two effects going on. One is the member effect, where you incentivize members to give you a greater share of wallet and be less receptive to competitor offers, and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
in parallel, there's the currency effect, which is the indirect and direct benefits of monetizing a currency. And I think that there's one thing I have to say, because I think it's very important. We believe that these two go, if you can see, hand in hand. So a strong
Yeah.
loyalty currency will help you to achieve the member effect, and it will also ultimately help you to monetize the currency. So it's not a zero-sum game that if you sell points, oh no, it goes at the detriment of the members. Not at all. Ultimately, the keys to success are offering a loyalty currency with a high utility, easy to earn, easy to burn, so yeah, and the reason why we wrote the book was we thought about it. Nobody has really ever sort of put a definition on it. Many people are doing it, so we thought, what
Yeah.
if we can come up with a concept? And the currency effect, of course, is a little bit of a play on the traditional translation of the currency effect, or meaning is when you hold foreign currency, there could be movements in value. So it's kind of an indirect effect that you
Yeah.
gain, and we thought it was an apt sort of parallel to what's happening here. So loyalty programs originally invented to drive customer loyalty, but all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, it's grown over time. You got this wonderful effect, the currency effect that allows you to generate value. And if I can say one more thing, one of the interesting things is that we did a questionnaire, I think a year ago, and we asked people in the industry, how big do you think it is versus the original intent? And I think an overwhelming majority said it can actually be as material as the
Yeah.
original objective. So I think that is amazing to think about, especially against the backdrop of programs and companies are still set up primarily to drive the member effect. But if there's so much value to be had from monetizing the currency, then it would probably warrant thinking around, okay, do we have the right strategy and the right structure? Do we measure the program in the right way? So yeah, I think lots of
Yeah.
hopefully interesting things
Super.
to think about.
Yeah, I could talk about it for hours, actually. We could keep going. I know you've just skipped on the surface, which is what we needed today, but thank you. So the chapter 77 is what you contributed to in my book Blind Loyalty. And you talk about the dramatic changes in the airline industry, so to speak. So tell us, what are the top three, in your opinion, top three major changes in the airline industry over the past 5 or 10 years in loyalty?
Well, I know two. I'm not sure if I can think of a third one, but I think two are come immediately to mind. The first one is an increasing, what shall we call it, rationalization or improving the economics of programs. These programs were started off as marketing tools, run as part of the marketing department with a marketing head. And I think over time, the airlines realized that actually, this gimmicky marketing things where you do these crazy promotions, the million-mile bonanza, fly all you want, they have come to realize that it actually makes sense to fine tune and tweak the economics and make sure that it works. As a great example of that is probably the introduction of spend-based accrual. So in the old days, you earn based on what you fly,
Yeah.
distance-wise,
Yeah.
regardless of the fare you paid. And nowadays, most programs have adopted structures whereby you earn based on the dollar amount you spent. And I
Yeah.
think that makes total sense. The example I always use is think of a supermarket program. you can fill your cart with mineral water, or you can fill your cart with French champagne. It doesn't make sense to say, I give the same reward because you filled one cart. The
Yeah,
cart with the water is 100 South African rand, and the cart with the champagne is 10,000 rand. So why would you
yeah,
reward those people the same? So overall, rationalization, I think, is a good example. The second
brilliant.
one is the crystallization of value. I think most of us knew already that these programs, because of the currency effect, are quite valuable. But really, what happened during COVID, primarily in the US, when they collateralized the programs, so they basically raised record financing on the back of the cash flows in the program. I think that really pulled the curtains for everybody and the wider market and analysts and investors and journalists all of a sudden said, wow, these programs are really material in size, profitable, resilient during COVID.
Yeah,
I think it was a huge aha moment for the whole ecosystem. Basically, it really manifested itself.
yeah, super, super. I'm happy with two. I'm happy
Oh,
with
thank
two,
you.
Ever. Honestly,
No, there's
um,
more stuff, but I think those two things. So the programs are being run smarter, and with everything that entails, smarter structures, hiring, management philosophies, etc., etc. And also what happened during COVID. And I think nowadays, many people realize these programs are, especially in the airline space, because they sit in that sweet spot. They're profitable, controllable, scalable, digital, wonderful businesses. Certainly, when you compare them to running an airline, which is just, it's a tough business with very little
yeah,
control over what happens in the environment. So, yeah, the loyalty
yeah.
programs really stand out.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. I really didn't put you under any pressure at all today, other than time
I'm
whilst shifting the
sweating.
course.
I'm
You're
sweating here.
sweating. Oh, that's good. I feel like that's a good one. Okay, give me someone else I can talk to on the Blind Loyalty Challenge.
Yes, I would like to nominate a respected industry veteran and who has or had and still has a very illustrious career across a number of different airlines. And that person is Gavin Halliday,
Great.
who started in BA, went to Etihad, and I believe he's working in a consulting capacity at the moment. I think it would be very interesting to hear from him. Why does he think is it still sometimes difficult to explain to senior management, board, C-suite, the value of loyalty? And why are there still people that say, oh, the loyalty program, there's a very big liability, it's very scary. What should we do to change that mindset and really convince them of the value of loyalty?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gavin and I know each other from British Airways a million years ago, so that's super. I'd love to connect with him again. So, got the question, got the person. That's super. So, Evert, thank you so much. Safe flying from Doha, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.